Let's get more on finance. We're joined by James Gerrard from financialadvisor.com.au. James, how about that gold price there? It has been so big, and I'm watching the Paris Olympics and everyone's walking away with their gold medals. There's a few coming back here to Australia. Are they actually gold?
Yeah, it's a great question, Lisa. So a gold medal weighs about half a kilo, and interestingly, it's not made from pure gold. It's actually 95% silver wrapped in 1% gold, and the other 4% of the Paris Olympic medals are from iron. But it's not just any old iron, it's actually iron from the Eiffel Tower. So the Eiffel Tower was built in 1889, and over the years there's been many renovations and repairs to the Eiffel Tower. So the organisers of the Olympics, they've taken some of the original beams from the Eiffel Tower and they've moulded it into a medallion. So on every gold, silver and bronze medal, there's actually a bit of the Eiffel Tower there. But back to the gold medal itself, we have to go back to 1912 to the Stockholm Olympic Games in Sweden to actually find when they last used pure gold medals. Since that time, there've been a mix of silver mainly and a little bit of gold, and that's primarily due to cost. So if the medals today were pure gold medals, they would cost about $60,000 per medal. Yeah, so that's a lot. There's over 500 gold medals that are being given out in the Olympics and the Paralympics. So that's a big change from the 1,500 that it actually costs for the mainly silver gold medals that they give today.
Oh, we love diving into the discussions about finance whenever it comes to the Olympics. And of course, Brisbane is set to host the 2032 Summer Games. I wanted to ask you something else, James, about property prices in host cities, because there is an assumption that property prices go up, that demand is high. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, this is really interesting, the data on this one, Lisa. So if you go back to the past 10 Olympic Summer Games, so you go back to Los Angeles 1984, Sydney 2000, Tokyo 2020, not one of those host cities have seen a drop in their property prices in the 10 years leading up to the Olympics. And in fact, the average growth for that 10-year lead-up period has been 90% over the past 10 Olympics. So before you go off and start buying property in Brisbane, we do have to remember that the Brisbane property market has increased 55% since COVID, of which 15% of that has been over the past 12 months. So the Brisbane market has had some decent gains in their property market. But you know, there've been some pretty big property market gains from other host cities. So if you look at the Beijing Olympics, their property market went up 200% in 1992. 10 years before that, the Barcelona property market went up 130%. So we have to keep an eye on the Brisbane property market. It may be interesting to see what happens between now and 2032 when the Gabba lights up that Olympic flame.
You know what else I'm keeping an eye on? Tomorrow's inflation figures. What do you reckon we're going to see?
Yeah, that's a big one. All eyes are on that June quarter inflation data. So what we saw from April and May was that inflation came in higher than expected. So for the June quarter, that's also likely to be the same. So the experts are saying that they think that inflation will come in at 3.8%, which is higher than the March quarter, which was 3.6%. But that's okay. So the experts from the banks, the economists, are saying that as long as inflation's below 4%, they don't think they're going to see another rate rise by the Reserve Bank. And the share market's thinking the same. They've only put a 20% chance of a rate rise increase. What they're foreseeing is that rates will stay stable throughout the rest of this year. They'll start to drop into next year, and that will echo what's happening overseas. We've already seen the Bank of Canada reduce the official cash rate. The European Central Bank have reduced their cash rate. In America, the Federal Reserve is expected to reduce their cash rate in September. And also, what we're seeing from borrowers here in Australia is that most of them feel that we're at the top of the rate cycle. We're seeing that 98% of borrowers are actually electing for variable mortgages. Only 2% of borrowers are actually fixing their mortgages at the moment.
It's interesting. Hey, James Gerrard, thanks for joining us, as always.
My pleasure. Thanks, Lisa.
Lots of Olympic conversation there. It's fascinating.